If he does, he's good enough. Anthony Richardson, two things. Number one, don't change your style of play. Don't shy away from hits. People constantly say, dude, you were drafted number 4 because you're 6'4", 250 pounds, and run 4.3. Don't shy away from it. You're going to take some shots with your style in the NFL. But it gives you the chance to be absolutely great. Under Shane Steichen, who's going to design this offense for you. And the second thing is this. Go flip the AFC upside down. I firmly believe that Anthony Richardson, if he's able to go play the way that he's capable of playing, can flip that conference upside down. Aaron Rodgers, go be...
Okay, so I agree in terms of can the Colts flip the AFC upside down, because I am a massive fan of Shane Steichen. And I think if Anthony Richardson can stay healthy, because we don't know, right? We don't really know what he's done in the NFL, obviously. They can ball out. I mean, they can absolutely ball out. Anthony Richardson is a type of quarterback with the skill set that when you link up with a coach with an elite offensive mind like Shane Steichen, as long as you just have average personnel, right? An average roster, a good roster, they have the potential to bring that up to great elite levels. Whether they'll be able to do it this season or not, or the next season, remains to be seen. But the potential is undeniably there. In terms of not shying away from hits, they've kind of all talked about this now. Like Orlovsky just highlighted that, but like Shane Steichen has, gave a comment about that, and I think Anthony Richardson as well. I don't think it's so much that you have to shy away from hits, but you don't have to just take hit after hit after hit after hit after hit. He's more than that. Yes, it's part of what makes him special is being kind of that beast, but it's also recognizing that you have plenty of other tools, right? Just because you have a hammer doesn't mean you need to use a hammer for everything. Sometimes you use a knife. Sometimes you use a screwdriver. Sometimes you use a wrench, right? Like there's other ways to do things. And that is the beauty of having Shane Steichen, to be able to kind of do a collection, right? Your toolbox. Sometimes, a quarterback can have plenty of tools in the toolbox, but they don't even really know how to maximize it or use it, right? They don't. And then you have to have a coach. And sometimes you have a coach that sees that this quarterback have all this, but they don't know how to utilize it all. Shane Steichen knows how to do everything. Shane Steichen will design this offense to set up Anthony Richardson to truly succeed. Will it prioritize his health? I don't know. It doesn't sound like it. And it's not to say, the problem is once a quarterback gets injured, especially if it's like the rookie year, and especially when they're mobile, we automatically jump and just say, this guy is injury prone. He's going to get injured. He's going to get injured. He's going to get injured. And that's not always the case, right? It's really not. I know people kind of keep making fun of AR for his injuries and kind of how he just like kept getting knocked out, and they think that it'll just be like, that's just who he is. We don't really know that yet, right? If it keeps happening for the next couple of years, maybe, but it's no guarantee. So you don't want to now just take his special away or some of the things that contribute to him being special. But I think in a lot of ways, what you can do is, the truth is that Anthony Richardson, the things that he can do on the field, it sometimes is more of the threat of being able to do them, or just doing them sporadically is what makes that offense so potent and makes that defense then so uncomfortable and so difficult to prepare against. And it's not so much of even doing it again and again and again. And again, the best example of this right now is, of course, Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes isn't taking all these brutal hits, and he's not even doing all the Mahomes-esque things that we saw in the beginning of his career. But it's a sheer fact that he can do it at any time that you're just like, okay, this is what keeps you up at night. And I think Anthony Richardson, more than anything, just needs to establish that and then just be more strategic about it. So I kind of disagree a little bit of this idea of don't shying away from hits. Again, it's not to say that you run away from hits, but it's just being smarter and more strategic about it all. So I really am curious to see how this all unfolds, because I originally did a video months ago about Anthony Richardson coming back and all of that, and this idea that Shane Steichen will put him in a position to kind of stay healthy. But in a way, Shane Steichen's MO is to kind of be like, no, we got these tools, we're going to use it, let's go. And that is what he did with Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts got banged up, right? Like he legitimately did. He almost wasn't even going to be able to play in the Super Bowl because of a shoulder injury. Like it was a real thing. He missed multiple games at the end of the season, and it was like, for Philly fans, it was holding their breath of like, is Jalen going to come back? And it cost him the MVP season. So it is a legitimate concern. You're not being too fragile here. So I wonder if they can kind of find a more equal balance of finding the special and utilizing it, but not not leaving him out to dry. And again, that is really what the Chiefs have done with Patrick Mahomes. I feel like the last real serious hit he had, or the last time they really kind of put him in that position to do that, and he did it to himself actually, was I believe it was against the Cleveland Browns when he got knocked out of that game. And I remember the commentators, and they were very accurate. They were like, "You are Patrick Mahomes. You can't do that. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. You're too important to this game. You are too important to this team right now. If you get knocked out, you're not able to help your team." And it's a real thing. It's a real thing that happens. And obviously Anthony Richardson isn't at that level quite yet, but I think it's still a philosophy that you can apply to pretty much any quarterback, quite honestly. And so I just think that they have to find a way to highlight and maximize what he can do and his physicality, and still using it to their benefit, but not in a way that just kind of runs him into the ground and drives him into pulp, or is constantly just a roll of the dice of like, is he going to get injured? Is he not? Because the truth is like, what if the Colts, and I'm not looking at the schedule, so these are just made up numbers. It's like, what if the Colts really do kind of catch fire and they're like 8-1, right? 8-2, 9-2. And people are talking about Anthony Richardson being MVP level candidate and all this type of stuff. It's like, you start to feel, again, it's actually kind of very Jalen Hurts-esque, where you're kind of like, man, this team is rolling. This team is good. And we are relying on this quarterback being physical and being a beast. But it's like every moment you're like, oh my God, please be healthy going into the playoffs. Please be healthy going into the playoffs. It can be an uncomfortable position to be in. And the Eagles got lucky that Jalen Hurts was able to bounce back, because he got hurt in a game that really fundamentally didn't matter against, I believe, the Chicago Bears. And again, if it was just a little bit worse of an injury, he's not playing in the playoffs. He's not coming back. And in fact, he had to come back like slightly early, I believe, to go win the final game, I think, to solidify the number 1 seed. I believe it was. Like, he had to come back in just to win that one more game, because the backup quarterback, the Eagles couldn't get it done. So it's just something to put into consideration. So it might be a blind spot for Shane Steichen. I don't know. As I've said, I am incredibly high on Shane Steichen. I think he is a top offensive mind in the NFL, and will continue to prove to be that. But if he puts his quarterbacks in positions to get hurt, who knows? So I'm really excited to see, and I really do think that the Colts, I totally agree with Orlovsky that they really do have the potential to just flip the AFC upside down and be an absolute beast. They can be that the kind of Houston Texans where people were really caught off guard by how great of a team they were. So I'm excited. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you think? How do you think Anthony Richardson should kind of be managed and dealt this season, and kind of the play designs and the offensive identity as a whole, I guess, with Shane Steichen? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.